I'm a person who used to be violently addicted to video games. From the age of 13 to probably about 19, I would not stop gaming. I could not get off my Xbox, my computer. I played RuneScape, I played Skyrim, I played Call of Duty, I played Minecraft, I played all sorts of games. I managed to get rid of my gaming addiction, and I never really got rid of it. I'm still gaming, but instead of playing video games, I play business. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through how if you treat your business like a video game, and more importantly, if you treat your life like a video game, it's like playing on easy mode. Okay, so if you have a problem with video game addiction and you can't stop like gaming, then what you can actually do is it's not a bad thing. You can channel that mindset and energy of gaming and the principles of gaming into your life and your business, ultimately making you lots of money. The real issue is that people are addicted to games and they can play video games for like hours. You can probably play video games for 12 hours a day. That constant reward, that constant dopamine. The thing is like people can play video games for like 12 hours, but then when they try and sit down, they can't even work on something for like 20 minutes, right? So there's a discrepancy. And the reason behind this is it's the perception of the activity itself. So if you're playing a video game, you're having fun. You don't see it as a painful thing. You don't see it as a grind. It's just something that you do because you enjoy it. And when you come to work, because you've got a negative association with work and your perception of it is negative, it is very difficult to do. You sit down for 20 minutes, you try and focus, and then before you know it, you're pulling out your controller and you can't seem to stop. So what you want to learn how to do is gamify your life. So look at it like this. Your business, the thing you're trying to start, is like a game. When you're playing a video game, let's take a third-person video game. Let's say you're playing Sims. You sit behind the controller and you basically move the joysticks and the buttons and you tell your character what to do, right? You send it off in certain things. It does this. If you want your character to exercise, it exercises. If you want your character to sleep, it sleeps. If you want your character to go and do some work, it will go and work. If you want your character to go and slay a monster, it will go and slay a monster. And the character doesn't complain, right? The character has needs, right? It might need to sleep, it might need to eat, it might need to rest, etc., etc. And these sort of fundamental human needs are built into these characters typically to make them feel more realistic. But generally speaking, your character doesn't kick up a fuss. It's like, okay, well, you want me to run until I run out of stamina? I'll run, and then I've only got so much stamina, so it's going to rebuild and I'll run again. It doesn't complain. You want to start treating your body the same way you treat a video game character. So when you're doing something difficult like work, you want to take yourself to the third person. This takes a long time to practice, but you want to take yourself to the third person's perspective and imagine that you are like your mind, right? There's your mind and your body. Your body is the character and you're observing the character go through life, and you basically as the mind are moving the joysticks and you're essentially the puppet master, right? So your body is the puppet and you're pulling the strings on what you want to do. So if you want your body to go to sleep at 10, you just send it to sleep at 10. You know, you're playing with, you've got the controller, it's 10:30, moving controller, body goes to sleep, right? Or if you want your body to go and work out every day, you get it to work out every day. Now, obviously, this is an arbitrary way of life. It's not convenient to imagine yourself in the third person constantly. If you did that, I think Freud would probably have a thing or two to say about you. But generally speaking, that's how you want to start perceiving your body, because we can do it in games. And it's exactly the same premise in life. The only difference is that game characters don't feel pain, and you do. So when you can learn to dissociate and separate yourself from the emotional and physical pain that comes as a result of you doing things that you know you need to do and resist doing things that you want to do but shouldn't, you're going to be much more successful. So the next thing we can look at in business is problems, because in order to build a business, you're just solving problems. In fact, if you build out the business, like your understanding of business, to a real first principle perspective, what we can understand is that building a company and building an enterprise that creates value in a market in exchange for cash and money so that you have freedom, all you're doing is building something that solves problems, right? And I don't mean solving the surface face level problem of your market where you're serving a niche or an industry who has a problem and you solve the problem, you make money in exchange. That's pretty simple. But building a business itself in terms of like figuring out how to get leads, figuring out how to get appointments, figuring out how to get sales calls, figuring out how to handle objections, figuring out how to onboard clients, figuring out how to take payments. All you're doing when you're building a company is solving problems one step at a time. And when you think about how you do a video game, right? Any video game presents you with problems, right? Presents you with opportunities for growth, because a problem is an opportunity for growth. And in order to build a successful company, you have to deserve to build a successful company. And the way the market and the universe will measure the level of success at which you should have, it will look at your ability to solve problems and how many you have solved. When you're playing a video game, you're solving problems all the time, right? Let's say you're doing a quest, or you've got to level up a certain skill, or you're trying to solve a problem or a puzzle, or you're doing some dialogue. It could be anything, right? And the same thing applies to business. When you're presented with something in a video game that is difficult, that is challenging, right? Maybe you've got to slay a boss or a monster, and there's a certain mechanic you have to master, and it takes you a few hours of practice to learn how to master it before you can slay the boss. You derive a lot of meaning and dopamine and happiness from that. But in business, in real life, for some reason, when a problem comes up and it requires a few hours of practice every day, we feel a lot of pain, and it doesn't make us feel happy that we're making progress. So you need to, this is what I said earlier about reshaping your perspective, and it helps massively. So the next thing to realize is that money is a measure of experience. So you know in video games where you have like an XP bar, right? And then like you level up and then you level up and then you can lose your levels, or like the XP denotes the level of experience you have as a result of your character going through and spending time in the game, solving problems, solving challenges. Money is basically to a business what XP is to a video game character. And so if you're a high level video game character, that denotes that you have a high level of experience in the game, solving problems and basically, you know, doing whatever you need to do to, you know, be successful in the eyes of the developers. In business, money is direct feedback for how well you're doing. What you want to do is reframe and reshape your relationship with money. Because at present, if you haven't got a successful company yet, you probably see money as this sort of capital for you to do things you want, right? What you want to do instead is reshape your perspective and start seeing money as XP points. And the monthly revenue that your company is at denotes the level you're at as a business owner and as a video game character, right? So for example, I'm currently at $500,000 a month. I want to get to $1 million a month, and I should be there in the next, 3 to 6 months, basically. And in order for me to do that, I need to solve different challenges, have a different perspective, and level up, right? And so as we progress through business, we make more money. And the more money we make, the more experience we gain. And, if you're like a billionaire, then you're like at the top of the game. In RuneScape, you're level 126, right? But if you're like making 10 grand a month, then maybe you're like level 50 or something. Going back to the character thing we talked about a second ago, what baffles me, if let's say you're playing GTA, right? So some people play GTA for like 8 hours a day, and they work on their GTA character, and they get the GTA character the nicest cars, the nicest apartments, the most beautiful women. But you play GTA and you build this character and you build this life inside of a screen, inside of this dimension that does not represent objective reality. You spend all your time and effort and energy and focus on this one thing where you derive all your meaning, and in the process your existing life suffers. So let me ask you, why are you spending all this time building an arbitrary character's lifestyle when you could be building your own? Every hour of every day, every minute of every day that is poured into a video game character is taking away from time, energy, and focus that could be poured into your character, to your own personal being, so that you can create the life you want to create. And I promise you that although it's a little bit more difficult, probably even significantly more difficult to do that than it is to build a video game character, because there's pain and emotions associated and self-sabotage, blah, blah, blah. The truth is that if you structure your life the same way you structure your favorite video game characters, like let's say playing Minecraft and you want to get netherite armor with protection 5 or protection 4, and you want all of the best stuff, and you spend hours and hours acquiring the best stuff, and then one day you wake up and you realize that you've just spent the last 5 years of your life creating this perfect life for this video game character that will never become conscious, and in the process your life has suffered. It's not a very good way to behave. And so I want you to be aware of this, because you can definitely do that. When you start a video game, and like at the beginning in certain video games, you get to design your character, right? You get to choose the initial conditions of the strengths and weaknesses of the main character which you will play. Prime example of this is Skyrim. You get to pick like what sort of race you are, and you get to design like the strength and stuff like that. You can do the same thing with your life, with your character, right? With your will, with your personality. People think that they are who they are and they can't change, but I'm here to tell you that's not the case at all. You can design your character and design the initial conditions of what it's good at, what its blind spots are, etc., etc. And then over the course of time and effort and applied, practice, those initial conditions will come to fruition to create strengths in your business that, are a force to be reckoned with. For example, with me, when I was starting my business, I decided that one of my key strengths would be sales and persuasion and discussion through, long form videos such as this, because I knew that my articulate ability and my verbal dexterity would triumph in this market, and I knew it would be one of the most important things to have. And so I basically just decided, I was like, that is what I will get good at. And over time of doing thousands of sales calls, hundreds of thousands of cold calls, almost 1,000 YouTube videos, I'm now pretty fucking good at it. And now if I want to build, which I'm going to be doing soon, a mass market personal brand, I've got the preconceived conditions and latent conditions of my character, because I decided at the initial start that I wanted to do that. So it's pretty cool. One final thing I think extends with this video game metaphor is the idea of main quests versus side quests, right? So if you're playing a video game and it's an open world video game, typically there's a main quest line to follow, and that's the main thing. If you complete that, you complete the game. But what usually happens with most people in video games, and this also is very, very true in life, is they have their main quest line. So for example, you could be 10 grand a month. Your main quest line is to build a successful company, or moderately successful company, doing $10,000 a month, right? That's the main thing. But then what happens as you go through this open world video game that we call life is people and other things give you side quests, So it's like, oh, I also want to get a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Oh, I also want to learn the guitar. Oh, I'm also going to get Duolingo so I can learn Spanish. And as we, instead of like focusing on the main thing, which is the main quest line to complete the video game, we get sidetracked and distracted by all these side quests. What you want to be able to do in a video game, but also in life, is define the main quest, which if completed brings about the most meaning and the most results, and just do that. Now, once you've completed the main quest, if you then want to go and learn Spanish or learn the guitar or, you know, go and do whatever the hell you want, raise children, blah, 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 then by all means go and do it. But don't expect to get the main quest line done for as long as you're off doing side quests, because there's only one of you and you've only got so much energy and focus. And if it's going anywhere but the main place, then it's not going to really get you very far. So I wanted to record this video because I see a lot of people struggling with video game addictions. And what you can do is you can just reframe your video game addiction and put it into your business. And it's exactly what I did, man. Like I would play video games for like 12 hours a day sometimes. Like I got bullied when I was like 11, so I'd go home from school and I'd just play games, man, like for just hours and hours on end. On the weekends, that's all I do. I became pale and skinny and gross. I mean, kind of am at the moment, but you get the point, right? We're working on that. But either way, that's that. Now, if you have a marketing agency or a coaching business and you want more clients, click the first link in the description. Yes, I'm trying to sell you something. No, I have no shame in it. I don't care if you click it or not, but there's a funnel. You can check it out if you want to. Other than that, subscribe. Have a fucking brilliant day. Take care. Bye-bye.